I'm going to share with you the top 5 strength exercises every enduro racer needs to be doing so you can wrestle the bike around like you're riding a push bike without riding 4 times per week, without lifting crazy heavy weights, without using complicated like exercises or expensive gym machinery, without spending hours and hours and hours in the gym every night, and then also without getting big and bulky. So we're going to have a look at some footage here, first of all, from the Enduro GP in Italy. And it looks like a mudfest. It looks really fun, to be honest. Maybe not cleaning up, but the riding does look cool. It's like a track where it's slippery, but there's also a reasonable amount of grip as well. So it's almost like, I don't know, a bit of flat track racing. But anyway, the first exercise that comes up is the back squat. So I'm going to show you what the back squat looks like, but first of all, I want to show you the position that these guys actually get into, so you know the benefit of the exercise. So if we have a look here, okay, obviously this rider's just sitting down, going around the corner, keeping his weight in the middle. So if I get my drawing tool here, you'll see that with his legs, he's got his upper body, okay, sitting more upright. Normally he'd sit, I guess, maybe a little bit more forward. So we've got this angle here, okay, so it's like a little bit of a zigzag, a little bit of a lightning bolt. So if we keep going forwards and we play the footage a little bit longer and we see who comes up next, you'll see that riders get into this position a lot, this zigzag position. So let's have a look here again. Let's get my drawing tool. Bang, bang, bang. It's like this lightning bolt position that we're in, where we're bent at the hips and we're using our bum and our hamstrings and our quads, and we've got our torso leaning forwards a little bit more. So we're using a lot of these muscles down the bottom here. So if we hop over to this other screen here, I'm going to show you the back squat. So let's have a look at the back squat here. This is an old video of me. And if we have a look at the back squat, we'll play through it a little bit. Okay, and then we reverse on the way up. Put that on mute so I can talk over the top. So what you'll notice here is I've got that same lightning bolt position. So I'm bending at the hips and bending at the knee. So let's have a look again. Bang. So if we get my little drawing tool out, you'll see we've got that same lightning bolt position that we have when we're on the bike. And that's why the back squat's so good. And so the problem is you can build this lightning bolt position strength by just riding lots. So like for a lot of these guys that we were just watching here in the GP, they're just riding lots, right? They might be riding 3 or 4 times a week, maybe even more, for hours at a time, which is probably a lot more riding than what you're doing if you actually work during the week and can't ride that much. So they build strength in that lightning bolt position by just riding and riding and riding and riding and riding. If you can't ride as much as these guys though, and you only ride once a week, you're not going to be able to get into that position enough to be able to build strength that you need on the bike. So that's where your gym training comes in and off the bike stuff. And that's why the back squat is such a great exercise. So if you're not doing any back squatting in your training, and then you go to get on the bike on the weekend, your body is just not going to be used to being in those positions that you're trying to get into on the bike. It's like it spends all week forgetting those positions because you haven't been in them, and then you try and spark it up again on the weekend, and then it's forgetting again. And it's just too hard. You're only getting into that position if you're riding once a week, 52 times a year, and it's just too spread apart to see. Like you do anything once a week, and it's going to be hard to see progress. So with the back squat, like we just had a look at, you can do this 2 or 3 times per week, and that's what we do with our guys. Like in the Fast Laps program, is they'll squat 2 or 3 times a week to be able to build strength in that position, and that way we can get them building strength off the bike rather than just saying, hey, like try and ride every day, which most riders and racers can't. So when you can do that, then when you start getting back to riding and needing to get into these positions, your body's used to it because you've been training that movement consistently throughout the week with your training. And the other great thing about back squats is you can load up the weight when you use a barbell. So in comparison to say using machines like different types of machines or just doing bodyweight stuff, when you use the barbell, I'm just going to put this on pause, is I can load up this bar. So if we have a look at the bar here, let's have a look as I'm going through for a few reps. This bar's 20 kilos on its own, right? So as I get stronger, I can challenge myself more and more by putting weights on each end. So I can start off with just the 20 kilo bar, but then as I go through the coming weeks and I get stronger, I can go up to 40 kilos, to 50 kilos, to 60 kilos, to 80 kilos, to 100 kilos. And so the stronger you can get yourself with the back squat, the lighter the bike's going to feel. So think about the weight of your bike. Your bike might weigh, 100 kilos, 110 kilos? and you might weigh 90. So if your bike weighs 110 and you weigh 90, that's 200 kilos you've got to wrestle around. So that's the great thing about the barbell, is you can load that up and get yourself stronger in that exact same lightning bolt position that you're going to be getting into on the bike without having to ride all the time, which is going to make the bike feel a lot lighter when you get to the weekend and you are able to ride. So if we go back to our footage over here, the second exercise is the deadlift. I'm going to show you why the deadlift is important. If we skip up here a little bit more, let's see if we got some different footage from what we've been seeing so far. It looks pretty muddy, this GP here in Italy. Well, the reason that deadlift's important is because, again, it's that lightning bolt position that we're getting into. So if we have a look here, and again, we get our drawing tool out, okay, we've got this lightning bolt position that we're getting into. And we're always in that position. So that it does change, it stretches out, okay, as we start to stand up. So I'll see if I can get someone standing up. Let's have a look. Looks like they're all sitting down around this corner. This looks like a tough section. Going uphill, and it's wet. So we're in, standing up again. Let's have a look. Wait. Cool. So again, like we're in that lightning bolt. He's got his weight back a little bit there, but again, it's that lightning bolt position that we're in. But that will extend and get smaller. So when you're sitting down, there we go. Let's go this way. I want to show you guys an actual example of someone standing up. So there we go, bang. All right, so he's standing up. So again, it's that lightning bolt position that we've got, okay? And that's what we're trying to do. So sometimes the lightning bolt's a little bit more stretched out when you're standing up, and sometimes it's more compact when you're sitting down. So that's what we're trying to replicate, and that's roughly what we're trying to work on when we're in the gym and we're doing our off-the-bike training. Again, you can build that strength and those positions by just riding lots like these guys do. But if you're not riding all the time, then it makes it very hard to be able to build that level of strength if you're just going riding once a week. So let's have a look at the deadlift. And again, I'm going to show you another example here. So let's hop over here. I'll just put this on mute again. So if you have a look at the deadlift here, once it loads up, is that you'll find that it's that exact same lightning bolt position that we're in. So let's have a look here. All right, cool. Definitely lagging a little bit. Don't know what's going on. There we go. So standing up, down. So let's have a look here. Lightning bolt position. Bang, bang, bang. So that's our lightning bolt position. Okay, and so we're consistently getting in that in and out of that position on the bike. So again, we're starting there. Want to have your back nice and straight. Okay, lightning bolt position. So let's go again as I pull up. Standing position. So what we're replicating here is we're replicating the sitting to sitting position that we're constantly getting in and out of on the bike. And again, if you're only riding once a week, you're going to find it very hard to build strength in that lightning bolt position. You're only going to be able to build that strength while you're riding. If you're only riding once a week, again, it's very hard to get good at anything doing it once a week. So you're going to find that every time you get on the bike, you're not really feeling much better than where you were previously on the bike. Whereas if you can do, say, deadlifts 2 or 3 times per week and get yourself stronger with this exercise in that lightning bolt position, that means you can train that same position, that lightning bolt position, 4 times a week. If you did it 3 times a week in the gym and then you did once on the weekend, that's 4 times per week. You multiply that over a year, that's 200 times a year you're getting in and out of those positions instead of just 50. And so that's the benefit one. The other benefit, though, is like with the deadlift, is you can also get yourself stronger, can't you? Because you can put weights on the end of the barbell and get yourself stronger to make it easier to wrestle the 110 kilo bike around. And so again, if you're training to lift something 200 times a year compared to only doing it 50 times per year, you're going to get a lot better doing it 200 times per year, but it's more accessible to be able to work on this stuff at the gym. It's easier to get to. It's something that everyone can do. You can do it at home if you want to. Like, this is my garage setup here that I had at the time. You can train at home with a barbell and weights and get yourself stronger. It's not always a whole day exercise just to be able to get out on the bike to actually see some improvement. And it feels great. Like when you can train off the bike and actually see improvements on the bike, it feels awesome because you're like, wow, like my riding is actually improving. Like I feel better on the bike. And the other great thing is you can ride longer when you do get on the bike. So instead of getting tired as early and fatigued as early as you do, you can ride harder for longer. And so you might only be riding once a week still, but because you can ride harder for longer, your riding actually gets better and your skills get better because you're doing more riding and better quality riding every time you get out there. And it's not because of the riding itself, it's because of the stuff that you're doing off the bike. And our guys only train 3 times per week. The strength component of their training is only 20 minutes. So they're doing 3 lots of 20 minutes of strength work to get themselves stronger, and just keeping their riding at once per week. Or some guys even only ride once per fortnight if they do FIFO work or work away. This is a brutal Enduro GP. I'd hate to be cleaning up after these guys. So let's have a look at the next exercise. We'll let this ad play and then we can skip to the next bit. But the third exercise that I've got here is the bent over row. So I'm going to show you why the bent over row is important, because you get in and out of this position a lot when you're riding. Put the sound on because I'd rather listen to bikes. The bent over row position is the upper body position. So I'll wait until we see a rider that gets into the position, and then I'll show you how it reflects in the gym. So again, we've got this, there's this V shape that we have there with the upper body, okay, where we've got the elbows up and we've got the hands on the handlebars. And that's the position of the bent over row. So I'm going to show you that in a sec, but I just want to show you a couple more angles on this. Ooh, yeah, lost it. Hopefully we can get some side-on footage. Let's have a look here. There we go. Cool, so here, let's have a look here. So he's obviously turning off the wall there. We're in this bent over row position where we've got this bending of the arms like that, okay? And so what's happening is the bike is either coming in towards us, or we're pulling the bike in towards us, or we're pushing the bike away from us. So if we're going into a corner, oh, I don't know what happened there. If we're going into the corner, okay, our body's probably coming more over the front of the bike so that the front end doesn't wash out, so we're pulling in. And then as we're coming out of the corner or going over rougher stuff or over whoops or getting over the back of the bike, like we might be going downhill, then we're pushing off the back of the bike. So we want to build strength in pushing away and pulling in. And we want to do that with this angle there. So the way that we do that, first of all, is we can do it with a bent over row. So just to illustrate here, as he's coming down the hill, he might be getting his weight further back, okay, and pushing it away from the bike. And then as he goes in towards a corner or he's going around a corner, then he'll move his body weight forwards. So if we hop back over here and we have a look at our bent over rows, let's have a look at this one here. So this is the bent over row, okay? So you'll notice that it's that same position that we were just getting into on the bike. So if we go over here to the drawing tool, okay, we've got that same angle. And that's what we're trying to train. So this is obviously training in the pulling motion. Okay, this is getting the handlebars, pulling your body into the handlebars or over the top of the handlebars and holding that position. So we've just got another angle here from side on. Again, same angle, okay? That's the muscles that we're working on training. So that's one position that we want to work. The other position that we want to work is we want to work on pushing the bike away, okay? So like we just said here, when we were looking at the GP footage, is we also want to be able to push away. So if you have a look here, these guys are more pushing away. They're trying to keep their body back a little bit more. Let's have a look at it a bit more. So obviously it depends on the angle of the bike and it depends on the section of the track in terms of whether you're pushing the body away from the bike or pulling it in closer to the handlebars. So you come around here, see they're over the front, over the front, over the front. There's not really, this is a lot of uphill, so the guys are trying to be over the front. There's not really many whoops. Well, there might be a bit there. Let's have a look here. So let's say when they're going down, this is that same section as before. So when they're going down, you see there, they're pushing back. That's a weird angle, isn't it? They're pushing back more over the back of the bike to be able to keep the front light, to be able to go through the rougher sections. So not right over the top of the bike when they're going downhill. So again, we want to train that position with our training. If you can't get out on the bike all the time, then you want to be able to work on that. So a great way to be able to do that is using an exercise that we call the deck press, or you can use bench press if you've got a bench. I didn't have a bench here at the time when I was filming this video, but ultimately what we're doing is we've got a barbell, okay, or I've got my stick there, and we're just tackling that same angle. So with weights, okay, so that's the angle like that on each side, which is a very similar angle to what we're using when we go and ride. So if I fast forward here, let me go sideways, a bit easier to see the angle. Again, here's the angle, right? That's the angle that we're training. And so our arms are constantly going in, out, in, out, in, out when we're on the bike. And that's all we're training in the gym. So when you don't train these exercises off the bike, then when you get on the bike, you don't really feel any different every week. You just get on the bike and maybe your skills have improved a little bit, but your body's not actually getting stronger. It's not getting easier to ride the bike. When you can start doing exercises like this in your training, which aren't that hard to do, you could spend, like again, our guys spend total of 45 minutes, 45-minute gym sessions in the gym training. Part of that is strength, and then the part of that's the cardio and the conditioning, which we're not going to cover in this video. But it's not a lot of work to do to make like such a big benefit on the bike and such a big improvement to enjoy your riding more and get more out of it every ride and every race. It's not too much work at all. It's just doing the right stuff. Common mistake that I see is riders will just do the wrong training. So they'll try and build strength, but they don't use a barbell. They'll try and use body weight and do body weight squats or body weight like deadlifts with their body weight or with dumbbells. Or they'll try and do like bent over rows with light dumbbells for high reps. And the problem is with that thinking is you never build enough strength to be able to actually wrestle the bike around. So again, like your bike's probably 110. If you weigh 90, you've got 200 kilos to wrestle around. There's no amount of push-ups, no amount of sit-ups, no amount of cycling, no amount of swimming, no amount of body weight squats that you could possibly do that's going to build you enough strength to be able to wrestle around 200 kilos easier and easier each weekend. That's why the barbell is so great, because the barbell allows you to continue building strength forever. There's no cap. You're not limited by how much you weigh. You can just keep adding weight, getting yourself stronger and stronger and stronger, and making the bike feel lighter and lighter and lighter as you get through the season. And the best time to be able to do that, you can always build strength at any time throughout the season, but the best time to be able to do that is through like the off-season, pre-season, because that's when you can be the most consistent with your training, because you're not doing as much bike prep, you're not traveling as much, you're not racing as much. So you can really just focus on your training and getting stronger and making sure you're ready for the season. And then you can still build strength throughout the season. It's just going to be a little bit slower because you're probably not going to be as consistent with training because you're going to be traveling and racing a fair bit more. Very nice scenery here in Italy. The last exercise that I have is the overhead press. So again, we're going to have a look at this position here that these upper body is in there. Okay, so that's the position that we're chasing. Now, if you have a look at the overhead press, I'm going to show you what it looks like now. Let's have a look.
Lift the best I can without causing injury as well.
You're probably going to think, hey, I don't actually get into that position of the bike. So how does that work? So let's have a look at the overhead press here. So I'm going to set up here, go with barbell, and then I push the barbell up overhead. Okay, and that's all we're doing. Up overhead. And again, you can load up the barbell and go as light or as heavy as you like. Now, you're right, we don't actually get into that position. But what position we're looking for is we're not looking for the position on the bike. We're just looking for this V angle here that we're trying to tackle. Okay, and we're trying to tackle that through pushing motions and through pulling motions, because that's what we're doing on the bike. We're pushing the bike away and we're pulling the bike towards us, and we're constantly doing that all the way through the ride, all the way through the race. So we want to make sure we tackle both of those evenly throughout our training program. And again, the best way to be able to do that is with the barbell. If you're not using barbell training, again, you're going to find it very hard to be able to build the strength that you need to make the bike feel lighter. It's like you can cycle as much as you want, you can swim as much as you want. The amount of effort you put into the training isn't important. Like, yes, you have to put effort in, but you can put a lot of effort into doing heaps of swimming and heaps of cycling, which is what I did when I was racing, and then still couldn't race a full race at race speed. Okay, and go, what is going on? Like, do I need to train harder? Do I need to do more? What's happening? And it just came down to doing the wrong stuff. So if you use these exercises and you do them consistently each week and you work on getting stronger with them, you're going to find that when you do all of this enduro riding, when you're doing hard enduro, when you're doing desert racing, whatever type of riding and racing that you do, it's going to get so much easier. You're going to enjoy your riding a lot more because you can ride how you want to ride throughout the whole race. Not just be limited by, oh, you know, like I got arm pump, or my arms are sore, my legs are sore, I ran out of energy, or I lost focus, or whatever it is. The other thing is you're also going to find it easier to hold the positions that you need to on your enduro bike. If you've been riding for a little bit or racing for a bit, you've probably got a rough idea of where your body needs to be on the bike. Okay, what position for certain corners, for hill climbs, for pivot turns, for desert racing over whoops, for cross-country stuff. You've probably got a rough idea. You might have done some coaching, clinics before, or you've looked on YouTube and you've worked on drills, and that's great. The thing that's going to help you to hold those positions the longest is getting yourself stronger and getting into that lightning bolt position and into that V position and training those positions in the gym during the week. Because fatigue is the thing that's going to cause you to not be able to hold those positions. When you get tired, you lose strength, you lose endurance, then all of that skills work you've done kind of goes out the window, doesn't it? Because you're just trying to survive. So they're the top 5. As always, if you guys would like some help with implementing some of this stuff into your own training to help with your racing, you can apply for my Faster Laps program. I'll put the link in the description or in the comments. Otherwise, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video.